we're looking at herbal traditions from around the world, a lot of those traditions are rooted in a vitalist approach. Of course, they have different names for it. That's kind of more the Western traditional terminology of this approach, but Ayurveda is an inherently vitalist approach to healing. Chinese medicine is totally a vitalist approach to healing. Homeopathy, physiomedicalism, eclecticism, Greek medicine is a vitalist approach, right? Looking at constitutions, looking at herbal energetics. These are all ways that a vitalist thinks. But as I said, vitalism is not just about herbalism. And so one of the things that I like to think about with this is that at its core, vitalism is a mode of perception. I think that's one of the main ways we can think about it outside the scope of herbal medicine, is that vitalism is a way that we see the world. It's a way that you look at things. It's a way that you perceive things in terms of living in accordance with nature. So the vitalist is, as I said, a student of nature. Well, how do we study nature? Well, I think there's kind of 3 layers to this that are good to observe. The first is understanding the seasons and seeing how the changing of the seasons externally changes our internal seasons, right? The vitalist has a mode of perception that sees how nature in the outside world affects the nature of the inside world within a person. And so we see how the changing of the seasons affects our health and affects our mind and affects how we live in accordance with that, right? We're going to talk about that a lot more in a future post, so be sure to keep your eyes on that in terms of the vitalist approach to living in harmony with the seasons and with the daily rhythms. But paying attention to the seasons is a big part of that. The weather, right? Anyone that, lives here in the Pacific Northwest, as I do, the weather affects us. I mean, if you get clouds and rain for 6 months straight, it's gonna make you feel a little melancholic, right? But there's a lot of folks out there too that, but boy, that damp weather comes and all of a sudden my arthritis flares up, or, oh boy, here comes that heat of summer and my rash kind of gets aggravated, or whatever it might be. So again, seeing how nature affects us. And then of course, ecosystems, wherever our habitat is, where we live, directly influences our health and well-being. So this is one thing that the vitalist does, is that we pay attention, right? We pay attention and learn from nature. And this has a lot of greater implications in terms of just seeing the interconnectedness of everything and how our health is not just isolated in terms of just within ourselves, but that there's outside forces that are affecting our health. And when we learn to pay attention to see what those influences are in terms of especially seasons, ecosystems, and the weather, we can learn a lot about ourselves. So vitalism is ultimately a way of living in accordance with nature.